Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Overtalk. I am joined tonight by a very special guest. How would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi everybody, I'm Annie Ram York.
Excellent. They are a good friend of mine as well as being a very good player in Overwatch.
Oh, thank you.
My co-host, Fear the Casper, is not joining me for this one, as it is late at night, and we kind of fucked up the bit of recording-wise, but that's all good. Anyways, the subject for tonight, or when you're viewing this morning or wherever, is casual versus objective Overwatch. So the first subject on the rolling block today is role comp becoming even harder to win in slash having to be perfect. What's your opinion of role comp in the current last month of Overwatch 1 and all the years that have gone by for it? Hello? Ol? Did they... Huh. Well, while you're thinking, I will... For me, role comp has always been... felt like it's been getting increasingly hard, or harder, just due to the fact that over time it's just stagnantly grown
Yeah.
into a overall harder matchup where it feels like every person has to individually play perfectly, and because of the uh, drip down economics of Smurfs, where Smurfs, it's the idea that when Smurfs come from higher elos and they sink themselves in like plat and gold, that they end up pushing all the people that are in plat and gold to a lower rank. So the rank that is so the rank that's like, say like a plat and gold, a plat would be now a gold and a gold would be now a silver and a bronze. It's still a bronze, but they're in bottom bronze tier. And it's the Smurfs gradually push everyone down into a lower and lower elo pool, so
Uh-huh.
that really the elo pool that is being in there is extremely diverse in its skill set, from hard to just normal casual people that are playing comp that should be in
hmm
there, and eventually it's gotten to a point where I've noticed a steady change over the past 2 years, where quite literally it has been where plat has gone into gold and gold has gone into silver and silver is now in bronze, and now it's gotten to a point where platinum players that were in platinum are in silver, which reinforces the idea of
No, I've noticed this as well, and I have a theory about this for as soon as you finish your
where
thought.
where because of the trickle down of these players and elos, it's not that they're doing worse, it's that they're being forced down because the way that comp works in Overwatch. I almost wanted to say TF2, wrong game. The way that it works is you have an MMR, which is a variable amount of skill, and then you have stats, which is hard skill. The variable amount of skill is what's taken across the whole board. So if, say, bronze variable skill for a character is just, say we take McCree, say his damage is average, so this is like the hard set in stone skill that you must meet in order to be good in bronze, that it would be like, say, 5,000. These aren't going to be accurate numbers, these are just hypotheticals.
Yeah,
Damage 5,000, deaths is under 9, and your accuracy has to be
under
30.
nine. Oh, we're setting low standards, but this is also for bronze, right? So in
Yes,
theory, this is like the bottom
and
tier of
so
skill.
then
Okay.
your accuracy has to be above 20% accuracy on your shots.
Yeah,
And
about 20%. Okay.
say that is what the game says. Okay, if you meet this skill requirement and you're above that, we give you more SR to pump you up to higher elos. Or if you're below that, we keep you here. That is the hard stat cap. That is the hard skill cap. Your MMR is ever changing, because the MMR, what it does is takes your average skill and sees if you improve. So you have your MMR, so say your McCurry is 7,000, you're having 7 deaths, and you're getting a ton of eliminations, and your accuracy is 49%. you're above the hard stat counter of bronze. However, say your MMR isn't changing. So you're not getting more elims, you're staying at the same damage, you're being good for the elo, but you're not changing. So what happens is your MMR isn't giving you boosts. So you're only gaining SR or points in the system from the stats, which will eventually increase you to silver. But after you hit silver, if you're still doing the same as MMR in silver that you did in bronze, it's actually worse. That's why when people say throwing a match or whatever, or that they're throwing the match to make themselves better, the reason they do that is because when you throw a match, one, it sets your stat wise under the required skill level, meaning that hard stat wise, if you're below it, you're not getting your boost. The reason Smurfs can't stay in low elos, though, is because their MMR pushes them. Their MMR continues to push them. But the reason recently that we've been seeing this stack up is because of the MMR backfiring. Because what if a Smurf, for example, is...
Well, what are we considering a Smurf here? Like, what rank? So they're Smurfing in bronze, right? Are we assuming they're
So,
like a gold player Smurfing in bronze, a plat
no, I'm
player,
talking about
a
plat.
diamond
I'm
GM?
talking about
Okay,
plat or
plats.
above. So diamonds and plats. Say they come down to bronze. The issue we're
Yes.
having right now is that the hard stat limit, they are playing under the hard stat limit that counts in bronze, which is only calculating damage and accuracy. On eliminations, it doesn't count eliminations unless you're specific heroes like Hanzo or Widowmaker. It doesn't count them for McCree, and it certain doesn't count them for Soldier or Bastion. Oddly enough, it counts it for Torbjorn, which is weird, and it also counts it for Roadhog. So if you get a shitload of eliminations as Roadhog, you'll fucking skyrocket. That's why he can skyrocket.
Funny.
Anyways,
Roadhog's little pellet
so
gun has such a big
because
spread.
because eliminations isn't counted, that's why you can have a platinum Smurf in bronze because his MMR has shot up super high. So say his MMR says his normal is 60 elims, okay? Well,
Yep.
if he doesn't push past that 60 elims, it's not going to give him a stat boost. It's not going to give him a stat boost because MMR doesn't view hard stats. It views only your stats. And if your stats aren't moving, it doesn't give you a boost. So quite
So this
literally, they can just sit there because the hard stats will say he's too high and they'll push him into a different zone. But then the MMR says, no, 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 he's not doing good at all. So then it decreases the SR, adding out to neutral territory where he climbs a little bit and then goes back down a little bit.
So
Not
your theory essentially is that people that are smurfing in bronze, let's say throwing games so they can stay in bronze, are abusing their own good MMR so that while they're
because
in bronze, they
yeah,
gain less SR, so they're more likely to stay there.
even if the hard stats give them an SR boost, their MMR would be almost like subtracting that. So it ends up becoming either neutral or a little gain and then a little loss, and then a little gain and then a little loss. That's how you can gain 50 SR, lose 50 SR, gain 50, lose 50, gain 50, lose 50, or not gain anything at
Well,
all.
I mean, there's also the fresh account phenomenon, which is where when you're playing on a fresh account and you do your placements for the first time, so you like do your placements and you get placed whatever. Let's say you're a plat DPS, you throw all your placements, you get placed like silver, like 1600. If you continue to lose games, for like that first 10 games, you will lose a ton of SR, and it goes the same with gaining. If you win those first 10 games, you'll gain a ton of SR. You'll gain or
The
lose like up to 100 SR per game, depending on how well or how
the
badly
the
you play, you know?
yeah, the reason for that is when you get a new account, it automatically places you in mid gold.
Yes.
Without a doubt, it places you in mid gold when you're doing your placements. So even
Hmm.
when you're doing that first 10, you just have to get above the mid gold. The other issue that we're facing right now is because of the stat and MMR issue I brought up before. This means that the longer Smurfs have been playing in the elo they've been in, the averages of what is considered good has increased.
Ah. So
So
you're
what
thinking that
happens? So
the
what happens when they...
Smurfs are messing up the averages for everyone else.
Yeah.
Okay.
So say the average for bronze and damage is 4,000 for McCree. Okay.
Mhm.
2 years go by. Smurfs are in everywhere in bronze. Now the average is 8,000, and the average for
Right, but
silver is
well, what
12,000.
about accounting for Smurfs that like throw games, and so they purposely don't do any damage? They do like 800 damage the entire game because they're just sitting in spawn. Maybe they get a couple kills just to be cheeky, but they just kind of like throw the game by like,
Even
wandering around the map like Smurfs tend to do.
even if they're smurfing in that way, where they're just throwing a game, you got to think on how many Smurfs go down into the lower elo. And remember, the game counts accounts. The game counts the accounts, and then it takes everybody's stats. So even if you have a thrower, as long as there's one account of a Smurf who did really well, that's counted. If they abandon that account, it's still counted stat wise. It's still put into the average. So you could have fucking people do 8 accounts. You have all these challenges of
I
going
mean,
from bronze to
I,
GM.
I know for sure. I mean, I've done the thing where before I threw games in bronze by making six
What's
ults and putting all six of my ults all on the same team, and I was playing all of them at the same time. It was
what's
actually really funny. It was just basically free SR for the enemy team. I did it mostly as an experiment to see if I could, but like, yeah, I know
what
that lots of people make lots of ults they just abandon. You really think those
they do,
impact the stats that much though?
because
Because I
because
played
like,
maybe like one game on some of these.
remember, any person who's ranked in the elo is counted as the average, because it takes every
But
person. It takes
does
so if
does playtime affect it?
no, because remember,
Intriguing.
it is the average of the elo. So if you had a person who was a couple seasons ago, that counts in the average because it's the average of the player. It's that person's ranking in bronze, which adds up to the overall average of the bronze. So you could have 1,000 dead accounts as in no one's gone back to them, and they placed really high stat wise. Those 1,000 accounts are included, and now the average is being tilted because of them.
Intriguing.
So you got to think, if every person, this is over exaggerating, but if every person made 3 accounts, we'll just limit it to 3. Every
Well, let's
person,
be honest. Some people have way too many
yep,
accounts. Some people have
but
like 30.
say every person got 3 accounts.
Yeah, 3.
They mainly play one, they abandoned one, and every say those one that one was varying between bronze and gold, and the last one is one they barely touched in comp. They maybe got their placements but then stopped. Both of all 3 accounts for each player is counted in the average every single season. So what happens when those accounts that did really good and the accounts that did really shit all happen as dead accounts? It continues to weigh it down as like dead baggage, dead weight,
Mhm.
and it continues to weigh it down. So what happens when over years and years and years you have Smurfs slowly boosting the normal stats average up, 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 to where now it's like, in order to crawl out of bronze, you have to be averaging in terms of damage 8 or 9,000, which is a lot to ask for a bronze.
Yeah.
You have to
What would you?
be
Well, I was gonna have a quick question. What would you suggest to the person who would say, "Well, then just win your games, five head"? Like I'm playing the devil's advocate
yep.
here. Like I hope you know that.
So
Let's say I'm the person
yeah,
who's like, if you
so
deserve to be out of bronze, just win a game. You get the bonus from winning the
so
game. What do you say to those people?
what I say to them is, here's what the averages to my calculations are. My calculations have been time in the game, seen what works in a 6 stack, and seen what is required to win basic games in bronze, silver, and gold. For healer, for main healer, in bronze, you gotta have around 6 to 7,000 healing minimum. For damage,
Yeah, I'd say that's a good number.
you gotta have around 6 to 7,000 damage minimum. And for tanks, damage blocked, it only has to be about 8,000
I'm,
total.
I'm not a big fan of the damage blocked stat. But maybe that's because I'm a ball main, so it doesn't really apply
So,
to me. I've always
well,
been like damage blocked isn't a good
it
indicator, but
it
I see what you're
only
saying
it
in
only
terms of
applies to main
yeah.
tanks. It only applies to main tanks. Damage block should be about 7,000. In terms of off tanks, you view it based on damage and death count. Death count should be under 14, and Damage should be hovering around 6 to 7,000, same as
Okay.
DPS.
I mean,
Now,
yeah, if someone was hitting those numbers in bronze, I would expect them to be climbing.
however, that was a little while ago, so that was about a year ago. Those stats held up. Now, from like my past notes that I documented before to now damage is hovering around 8 to 9,000, healing is 8 to 9,000, and tanks have to have under 11 deaths, which is asking for like silver territory and a bronze. And if you take it by that mentality, in order to even accomplish in gold, you have to have like 10,000 healing is your minimum in gold for a main healer. 13,000 is you're putting in the work. As an off healer, you got to be getting at least 8,000 to 9,000. For Mercy, especially, you got to be having 1,000 damage amp for healer. For DPS, it's 10,000 is your minimum. For main tanks, 10,000 blocked, and then 11,000 damage is minimum. For off tanks, it's like 12,000 damage is minimum. For right now, that's like average minimum stats for gold. And when you start increasing the tier list, so like for people that said, "Oh, just win your game," it's a bit more difficult than that when the step to bronze is big, but the step to silver is even bigger, and now it's a leap to gold, and then it's a cliff side to platinum.
Yeah, and then of course with Plat to Diamond, there's a massive skill canyon,
It's a
and
Grand Canyon.
people talk about, with Diamond to Masters and even Masters to Grandmasters. Like people talk about from like 3.5 to 4K that there's an absolutely monumental skill increase.
And the other big issue here is because of all that skill boosting, it's so hard to rank up on your it's so hard to rank up with just 2 or 3 people. You have to do a 6 stack almost to rank up. But the
Mm.
issue with 6 stacking is that if you're 6 stacking with a rando, so say you go into a rando team, you're only going to get about to silver at like solo. There are people that'll solo one character and maybe get to gold, but the issue with this is that if you know what character to play and you know how their stats increase, you technically can get to platinum. So for Hog, if you only focus on eliminations and focus on healing yourself and good positioning, you'll climb really fast. But you have to
Yeah,
be
for
getting,
sure.
but you got to be getting higher aliums than your DPS are.
Well, it also helps that, Hog's a very a
Beefy,
character, very impactful character, a beefy, impactful character who's been, in and out of the meta, but more in the meta in like bronze, silver, gold for
but
the past year.
the biggest issue with Hog right now, though, is his biggest flaw is that deaths don't count. So because deaths
Hmm.
don't count, you could literally have a person who's really good at hooking and killing shit, but is awful at his survival rate, leading to an awful team fight. Which is, again, because we're in the last month of Overwatch 1, it doesn't really matter too much, but it does matter in
Yeah.
the sense that these bad habits translate to Overwatch 2. The bad habits being, as long as I do the things that make certain characters good, I don't have to worry about climbing. But once you get into a 6 stack with all these bad habits in mind, it makes climbing as a 6 stack, trio or duo, all the more harder, but you also gain an experience boost and an SR boost when you are in a group. It's just a messy fucking web.
I don't know. I'd played with a hog player before. I helped boost him to diamond because he knew I'd soloed almost to diamond and like brushed it a few times on support, so he wanted me to duo queue with him and like basically just like play main support for him while he played hog and like keep the rest of the team alive. And I boosted him all the way to diamond, and I've come to the conclusion that it's just hog players, bro. Like hog players go in, throw a hook out, get one pick on like a support, and then they feed their entire massive health pool to the team, and then they're like, guys, why didn't you win that fight? Guys, I hooked a mercy. How did we not win that fight? Well, maybe our main tank was dead, sir. I think it's just hog players.
And it could be just hog players, just overall, from what I've experienced, that's how things are going now. The stat and MMR shit is going on. What's even worse, though, is in Overwatch 2, they're not resetting levels, they're not resetting SR. So because they're not resetting this, everything of what I just talked about is going to
Will
be an
carry
issue
over.
in Overwatch 2. But it's going to be even worse
Well,
now.
I have a theory if you want to hear my theory now, because
Yes, I
I
do.
I think I've made the same observations as you, but I came to a slightly different conclusion. And I'm
Okay.
speaking from experience of a person who like normally is within like the 2800 to 3200 range, so like high plat, low diamond. I done a ton of smurfing in the past, not the proudest to admit it, but I've like smurfed a lot. And I just think there is a lot of skill creep going on in Overwatch. Like the skill floor has risen dramatically. And I've noticed like that people who might deserve to be a rank higher than they actually are being in lower ranks, or people in lower ranks playing a lot better and like having to get higher numbers, like you said, like people in bronze or silver getting like really high damage numbers that if I had seen that like a few years ago even, I would have been like, how are you not in gold? How are you not plat? Like you're getting 10k healing a game as Mercy and Bronze. Like, how are you not higher than a Bronze Mercy? But I think it just more has to do with the general skill floor of the entire player base just rising because as the game is out for longer and longer, people are going to get better at the characters. And as more people join, and I know Overwatch doesn't have the best numbers right now, but as more people join the player base and you get more people that are like more experienced, you're just going to have to expect a higher standard of gameplay in every elo. And a good way to compare this is like me and my friend back way back. I don't even remember what year it was, but it was like right before Roll Q was released. Like right before Roll Q, or maybe it was right after Roll Q was released. Me and my friend we were top 500 in Overwatch, and we were just like playing. I don't remember what we were playing. I think we were playing like Mercy and Moira. Like we would just like support duo together, right?
Hmm.
And now we are both solidly like plat in support. Like 2700 2800 in support. Like I am solidly a plat support, and I look back and I'm thinking I'm not worse than I was then. Like I have not gotten worse. If anything, I would say my support has improved a lot. Like I play characters other than Mercy and Lucio now. I used to just be like a Mercy Lucio two trick. I play characters other than Lucio and Mercy. I feel like my Moira is pretty good. I understand Brig, I understand Ana, all these other supports, and I feel like my skills
Hmm.
gotten a lot better. Like I have much better mechanics now. I can actually aim a lot better, and I have much better game sense. So how is it that I have been like kind of consistently on and off playing, but there's no way I could even hope to maintain a top 500 rank now being plat. And it's just that the skill floor has increased a ton since that beginning, like really early season of Overwatch
I
when,
I don't mean to
you
interrupt.
know,
For everyone
go
out
ahead.
there that's thinking, "Oh, well, it's just natural skill increase." This isn't natural skill increase. It's not like TF2 where over the past 12 to 13 years, naturally the skill floor has increased because naturally players just get better. No, this is a forced increase in size where once again, because dead accounts are counted as averages, they just increase naturally. The better people get, it'll increase gradually as well. But when it's so forced and jacked up in steroids like this, it's almost impossible, like you said, just to get up.
Yeah, well, all I know is that I look at top 500 players today and I think I am nowhere near that skill level. And I have friends that are like still like top 500, and I feel like they're at like a that, or not even that they're still top 500. They were like top 500 up until like a year ago, and I feel like our skill levels were like it was like comparable. Like it wasn't like this huge gap. They were obviously much better than me. Like I'm not saying I was on the same level as them, but I felt like there
Mm-hmm.
wasn't a huge gap in our gameplay. So maybe what you're saying does have some sort of
Now,
credence to it. But at the same time, I do look at most like 99% of top 500 players, even GM and Masters players today, and I'm like, yeah,
I
my Plat Mercy does not hold a candle
I will say
candle
this.
to it.
I will say this because I feel that a lot of people that are in plat have it easier because unlike people that are in gold and silver and bronze that are affected the most by this, if you're in platinum and above, because the match pool is so limited, oddly enough, you won't go down that far. It's weird. You'd think that
When you
having
say go
you
down far, you mean lose SR or go down in terms of players you're playing against in terms of skill
so
level?
I'm what I'm saying is when you're in platinum above, your skill the skill to get to each rank, while it is big, you're going up against the same team over and over again, and you think that'd be a bad thing, or at least a proof that there's high skill level there. No, that's more proof that even if you lose to that team over and over again, you're not dropping a lot because the average is what you're hitting. There's not as much players up there. There's not as much like well, I guess what I'm saying is because there's not as many players in plat, diamond, master and grandmaster, the base stats and MMR aren't going up. They're just at ground level. So they're not going anywhere. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I kind of feel that there's a problem with like a small player pool now in like upper level Overwatch, even though it feels weird called Diamond like upper level because I don't feel like it is because I've always felt like okay, Diamond's people that are just kind of like above average, right? But now I hear people saying that like plat players are like considered like above average, and now I've even heard people saying like gold players that can like stay in gold, maintain high gold are like above average. But like I was in a diamond game like the other day and there was two masters players, like a GM player in the game because there's just like no one else playing Overwatch at that time and I was like there's really 12 people playing this game right now. This kind of sucks. Like, and then you queue up and you get those exact same 12 people again in your match, and it's like, really? I
Yeah,
guess just whoever has the GM on their team is just gonna be the team that wins. That's
so
fun.
as far as I know, because of the lower player size in those things, unlike I would say an accurate assessment right now, in my opinion, is bronze, average player. Silver, bronze and silver is the bronze. They say is the well, I gotta say low bronze now. Low bronze is the starting player. High
Oh yeah, low
bronze,
bronze, someone's like never played
high
like first person
bronze
shooters before.
high bronze is you've played for a long time, but you're hard capped either because you don't play a lot of people, or you're just not diverse enough, or you're still
Yeah,
learning.
people that say that gold
Silver,
is still the starting point, people that still
no,
try to convince me that like gold is like, because I
it's
understand
not.
that gold's where you'll get placed if you're a fresh account, but people try to convince me like the gold skill level is the skill level where you get placed if you're like brand new to
I
Overwatch. I'm
call
like,
those.
you
I
guys haven't been in gold in long enough,
I
bro.
I, I called those Overwatch boomers, where they can only see rose tinted glasses through older Overwatch and
Yeah, yeah.
accept.
They're like, we need to go back to the day of having when
So
Open Queue was the only comp mode and you could have 6 Winstons on your team. We need to go back to
so
that.
and then you have silver, where I believe silver is the average. Silver right
That could
now
be, yeah. Someone that's
silver
new to Overwatch but plays
no
first person shooters,
no
maybe.
no silver to me is the average player base right now.
Oh, really?
See,
You think it's just like someone that's been playing for a while?
people that have been playing for years, that is the average player base of Overwatch right now. Gold is the above average. The reason I say gold is above average is because silver, unlike bronze, bronze you can boost yourself out of because even if a Smurf is there, the stats are still at bronze level and their MMR shoots them into
Yeah, and
silver.
there's so many Smurfs in bronze too,
But
bro.
it's the MMR that shoots them into silver. The reason I say silver is the issue is because silver is affected the most by what I was
Yeah.
talking about. Because silver is the average and it has the largest pool. I can, for example, I can look to my
Does
server.
silver really have the largest pool of players right now? Is it no longer gold?
Silver is the largest
Because
pool.
for a long time, people were like 70% of players are in gold, which is why people got the
The
number or the statement that
the
gold is the average
last
player
the
comes
last
from.
graph that I saw, 80% of people are in silver.
Oh yeah. So the skill floor really is rising, or like you said, the MMR is getting messed up by
So
Smurfs and such.
the silver is 80%, and then I think it's like the last 10% is split amongst gold, plat, diamond, master, and grandmaster, and the other 10% is in just bronze.
Bronze. Yeah, that makes sense. It's got to be the split. I imagine the split is probably like of the upper elos. It's probably like I don't know. I'm gonna guess like 5% is gold, and then the of the other 5%, it's like
A mixture.
3% plat, 1% diamond, like
There
1%
is there is oddly more diamonds than there are plats.
masters, 0.0% GM.
There's more diamonds than there are plats in Overwatch. I think that's mainly just because, like we were saying before, there's not a whole lot of people, so the stats aren't rising and the MMR
Maybe
isn't
it's
going
because no
anywhere.
one wants to be in plat. Everyone who's in plat is like desperately trying to hit diamond, myself included. So maybe it's just like everyone's desperately grinding out diamond, and then they get
The
barely diamond. They hit 3K, then they're like, okay, I'm done, and then they fall back to 29, 90.
the other massive thing that I find is because of all the stat increases, you have to be nigh perfect in order to level up
Yeah, so that's
in
part of my
Overwatch.
thought with the skill floor thing. Like, I've been playing this game forever, and I only recently started learning DPS. Like, I know it's kind of sad, but I just have never been a big DPS person because I thought tank was a lot more fun, and support was a lot more fun, and they had faster queue times, so why would I play DPS? Plus, a lot of my friends are DPS mains. But I recently asked one of my friends who's like a similar DPS to what I normally play tank in. He's like high plat, has brushed diamond several times. I asked him to teach me DPS, and I've noticed that even him being like a relatively good DPS, he has to play like insane to have a impact
You
on
have to
the
work
games as
your
a
ass off.
solo DPS player.
It feels like you have to it feels like you have to almost overcompensate for
Yeah. I'll watch
like
him solo queue on Widowmaker, and he has to hit like 3 headshots like every fight to make sure that his team doesn't get steamrolled.
it's become to the point now where I've gone into generalist and specialist with you before, I think a long time ago, but to refresh your memory, every shooter has what's called a generalist and a specialist. A generalist is what keeps the game rolling. They're generally good in most situations. You can plop them into anywhere, and they're generally good. Okay? A specialist is something that excels in one thing and slows the game down because of it. A good example of this is Ashe and Widow. Ashe is a generalist. Ashe generally is good for most situations. Widow is a specialist. Widow will halt the game and make pressure down a sniper alley or a corner and force you to play around her. Another example is I'll take Torb and Bastion. Torb is a generalist. Place him anywhere you want and he's generally good. Bastion is a specialist. Pharah and Junkrat. Junkrat is a generalist. Pharah is a specialist.
Yeah.
Another, a somewhat more minute example is Genji and Hanzo. Hanzo is a generalist.
Hmm.
Genji's a specialist.
Yeah, you can play Hanzo on any
Hanzo
map, in my
Hanzo
opinion.
is almost anywhere you can use him. Genji you can only use in specific situations because there are other heroes that just do his job better beyond the thing you're using him for, which is flank in the back,
I
kill
need
a
you to come
healer.
tell this to all my Genji one trick friends, all my DPS friends that one trick Genji. He's
I'm
a
glad
specialist, guys.
most people wouldn't even listen to it, but the other, it even happens for tanks, for example. Take
Sure.
we'll take a really subtle example.
Oh, you
Sigma.
do wrecking ball since I'm a ball
Um,
main, because I'll have lots
okay.
of opinions regardless. Don't worry, you won't offend me.
So
I already know your answer, I
Ball
suspect.
and Diva. Ball's a generalist. Diva's a specialist.
Really? I would have
Hmm.
swapped it.
Nope.
I think
So
Diva's ability to eat
Ball.
any stun this makes her so good, whereas
No. So
Ball.
the reason I place Ball as a generalist is
Hmm.
Ball's whole thing is he creates space in the back of the enemy team for you to create a push. You're basically
Yeah,
creating a
he's a
mini
disruption tank.
your disruption, but you're also creating a mini pincer. You're isolating the back half and the front half of the team. Either they
Hmm.
focus you and you push in on them as they focus you, or they don't focus you and you kill their front line. Diva, however, can only play in specific ways. She either has to play around her tank, which doesn't really go well for her because she's very dive, very mobile, and isn't good with frontile brawly encounters. Hence why she does really great as dive because she can dive in and then get out and go somewhere else and harass someone. When she's with Ryan, she doesn't really work that well because Ryan has to hit things really close to him, and Diva sucks at close range because everything she has gets countered at close range. Junkrat, Reaper, Hanzo, and McCree can counter her at close range and demech her. The same issue is applied with
Really?
Hog.
Because I normally Diva's what I go to when I can't make ball work. Usually because the enemy has like 5
So,
stuns, and I feel like my Diva win rate I think was higher than my ball win rate for like the last couple seasons, simply because
so
just the ability to dive target, but also to DM an infinite amount of damage and an infinite amount of stuns
now, mind you,
made her
when
so
I
good.
say when I say generalist, it isn't saying I'm not saying that that's a go-to pick all the time. What I'm saying is you can take Ball and stick him in any comp and have it work. You can stick Diva in only certain comps because you have to play around a Diva to counter a Diva. You don't really have to necessarily play around a Ball. There's multiple stuns in Overwatch 1 and there's multiple things to hinder a Ball in playstyle or in different heroes beyond DPS. With Diva, there's not really a tank that can counter Diva, and there's not really a support that can counter Diva. It's all meant on the DPS. That's why she's a specialist. Make sense?
Hmm.
You have to have
Yeah,
specific counters for her.
I get
Anyways,
the concept of what you're saying, I think.
anywho, sorry if I over-explained.
No, it's okay. I asked for it.
And so, because of that, I forgot where I was going with that.
We're talking about generalists and specialists. Using the example of Widowmaker and Ashe, when I brought up my friend who was a Widow, had to
Oh,
play
yes.
Nye
So,
perfectly to make any value on his teams.
oh, yeah. So, anyways, the skill floor is increased for everyone, but also it's so much harder on the general specialist split because now specialists are just shit. Usually,
Yeah,
what
they get sort of messed up.
usually right now it was so much better. So I may sound like an Overwatch boomer, but quite literally, before if you had a specialist, you could switch to them, do their job, and you either play around them or you counter them, and then you pick off them. The essence of switching, counter picks, all that jazz. There's not really counter picks anymore because if you get two general DPS, Reaper and Soldier, because they're so good and because the skill ceiling is so high with Smurfs there, a Smurf does better on a generalist hero than a specialist. A non Smurf does better on a specialist than a generalist because a specialist has immediately instant game changing capabilities. Widowmaker, even if they're a half decent Widow, they have to counter the Widow in some way. They have to do something about the Widow. Same
Yeah.
thing with a McCree. You have to do something about the McCree. Reaper and Soldier, they're not immediate threats. They're background threats, which makes them so powerful.
I don't know, man. I know some pretty scary soldiers who got the one shots down, like the Helix rocket, shoot, shoot,
Now,
punch.
when I say background threats, I don't mean that they aren't threatening. Background threats, as in they won't stick out immediately for you to kill them or focus them down.
Yeah, like they're
They're
not as easy to isolate and punish. A Reaper playing out of
because
positions can be very hard to punish due to all his escape abilities, his lifesteal, etc. Same with
because
Soldier. He can run really
yeah,
fast, self heal. I get that.
because generally speaking, they can perform in every situation well. Hence why now specialists aren't even worth it. They're just not worth it. Even the really broken ones like Echo, just they're not worth it because they'll always have a DPS like a soldier, or they're always going to have a hit scan, and they're always going to have something to counter the specialists. And because of that, that's normally how it should go. A generalist is usually needed to counter a specialist, or another specialist to counter a specialist. But now it's just everyone's general, so what the fuck do you do? Combine that with higher stats, and it's just not a fun time.
Yeah, well, I think the suggestion would be you learn to play more generalist characters of your own, or I suppose generalist characters can still have counters. Like we're talking about Diva earlier, right? Diva is a fantastic counter to Reaper. She's one of the few tanks that can push him without feeding him her entire health bar because she's
Mm-hmm.
got DM, and she can micro missile him while she's DMing him and just delete him out of existence without worrying about feeding her health pool to him so that his lifesteal keeps him alive infinitely. So mean, those characters, and then of course you can also DM his ult, which is, like very good ult in my opinion. I think Death Blossom's great. So like being able to counter that ult as D.Va is like strong. So there's still like counterplay and stuff for generalist heroes. And you could even argue that like there's like some specialists like I don't know, like Pharah, she's a specialist, she definitely counters Reaper. I know he's a little bit more snipey now, like his spread's a little more condensed,
His
so he
spread is
has a little bit
so
more
fucking
range.
tight. His
But
spread
I
is
mean, if you
so
put a
tight.
Pharah and a Reaper in like in a 1v1, I think the Pharah is gonna win like a solid 70-80% of the time. Assuming it's a smart Pharah, I don't know.
I see what you mean.
Yeah, so I think there's definitely counterplay because like once a really good friend told me, the one I actually used to be in top 500 with, he would always say Overwatch is just a massive game of rock, paper, scissors. Every character has another character they're countered by, and they have characters that they counter.
Now,
You just have to be able to know which counter that is and when it's effective to swap and how to play those characters. Of course, that's an oversimplification, but you get the idea.
I will say though, there is something to be said that you can still counter something even if you are countered by the other character. For
Oh,
example,
100%.
like, just because they have a Reaper doesn't mean you should switch off Monkey, because sometimes you'll just kill the Reaper by out-positioning him.
Yeah, I mean, let's say I'm a Reaper getting countered by Pharah because their Pharah is just obliterating me from distance before I can even get close to her with my spread weapon, before I can get to high ground. That doesn't mean I can't still get value as Reaper, trying to dive their Ana or something, or dive their Baptiste. But then again, those supports like Ana and Baptiste that are easily pushed and killed by Reaper, you can swap to something with more survivability, like Moira or
Yeah.
Lucio. Like it's just a
So,
big game of rock, paper, scissors.
now, moving on to the next subject. We just got onto subject 2.
Yeah. Oh boy, we've been talking for half an hour.
It's
I
all
like
good.
debating though, so this is
No,
fun.
it's all good. Take as long as you want. We'll probably make this the longest one yet. Now, the next one is open comp becoming super casual. Oddly enough,
Yeah.
open comp, my god, it feels more casual than Quickplay.
I
Like,
mean, it really does.
I queue up into open comp, I'm like, now, I will say it's infuriating if you're trying to take it seriously. So if you're trying to take open comp seriously, it is infuriating because you'll get all the same. Literally, I find when I first played open comp, I found it fucking infuriating because I would be Reinhardt, I would get 15,000 damage, 16,000 damage blocked, under 6 deaths, and I would still fucking lose the team. My game would still lose, even though I'm playing perfect peak silver and gold Rhine.
Yeah, open comp's interesting. When they introduced roll, I hated it at first, and I started like falling really fast, And so I would like go play open to make myself feel better and still feel relevant.
The way that
And
I.
I
Oh,
still enjoy it, but I also do know it's frustrating, queuing up for some open comp, and then I've got 5 DPS and a Roadhog as my team.
here's
Usually
the.
I'm the Roadhog because I'm like, we gotta have a tank somewhere, guys.
Yeah. What I'll say is this: roll comp. A lot of people are not going to agree with me with this, but I think roll comp's balanced. The reason I say it's balanced is you're guaranteed 2 DPS, 2 tanks, and 2 support. You're guaranteed it, and because of that
Yeah.
guarantee, on a fundamental team level, you have a higher chance of winning because everything is set in stone standard, and now it's down to the individual skill. That's also where roll
I
comp's
would agree
issue.
with you,
That's
for
also
sure.
where roll comp's biggest issue lies right now because it's down to individual skill. Open comp's biggest issue, in my opinion, is that because it's so uneven all the time, oddly enough, it's its biggest strength and biggest weakness. If you try putting an even stacked team in open comp, you can't win if your team's not even. So if
Hmm.
someone does 2-2-2 in open comp, you're going to win real easy because it doesn't matter what they have. They're uneven and they're going to lack in a certain department, and you're not going to lack. You're always going to be the average, but you're
I
also the
mean, what I
average.
I have noticed that in open queue comp games I've done recently, people have just automatically chosen 2-2-2, I think I had one goats game, but other than that, people just choose 222 anyways. Sorry, I bumped my mic.
Yeah,
People choose 222 anyways.
and
So
so,
it's sort of like it's like a mini role comp in that sense.
but then the biggest issue that I find is that it's somehow more casual. It's not as tryhardy as roll comp because you're not limited to the roles. You can do whatever. But also, unlike Quickplay, because Quickplay is a air quotes, balanced match in 222, it inherently makes Quickplay more competitive than it needs to be. So open comp is generally pretty casual. I don't say that about Quickplay Classic because Quickplay Classic is somehow more competitive than both the competitive modes.
Oh, Quick Play Classic is where dreams go to die. I do not
Because,
like Quick Play Classic.
in my opinion, Quickplay Classic, because it's out of the way and not in the normal stream of gameplay stuff, you have to go to it to play it. But that small little change makes it so anybody who wants to try hard in that mode will dominate because they are going to that mode to try. It's not in the mainstream where you're not going to have everyone in it.
Hmm. I don't know. I used to play a ton of QPC, and me and my friends would just sort of like mess around and not care whether we win or lose. But when I go into QPC with the intention to like do well, it's very, very infuriating. Like, it's like I get the sense of like what you're saying about people. Like, if you're not playing 222, you get instantly rolled. So maybe that's just like my similar experience to like what your open queue has been.
And so I've just found open queue to be so fucking casual that I can go in and essentially I can turn my brain off because for whatever reason it just feels more casual. Probably because I'm playing whatever I want to, and because I think that the reason it's so casual is even if you lose, you still gain SR. But unlike roll comp where leveling up to the next rank means everything, you gain about as much SR as you do when you lose that when you win. And I think the other thing that matters is your roll comp, your open roll comp doesn't mean anything.
Oh, that's me and my friends always debate whether or not like your quick play MMR affects your like comp MMR. I think the real debate is how do your open queue and roll queue SR like interact with each other, MMR interact with each other. Have you considered though, Cactus? It could just be a skill issue. Like you could just be better at open queue. Like your open queue is lower than it deserves to be, and so that's why you find it so casual because you're just better than the rank you're in.
I don't want to think
Not
about it.
trying to inflate your ego or
I
anything,
don't want
but
to think of it in an egotistical way that I am the better one here. But I genuinely think the reason that it's so easy for me is because unlike roll queue comp that has heavy SR gains for winning and deeper SR losses for losing, and that's where the ones where people are where it's known to be generally very uptight. Open comp, you don't gain a lot of SR for winning or losing, and you don't even gain streak SR. You just gain SR for losing or winning, and it's kind of negligible on either side. And you don't lose a lot of points to your SR total in open queue, so it's like I can do whatever the fuck I want as long as I have the intent to try the game and win. I'm not throwing, and I still get rewarded for it.
I mean, here's the thing. People for a long time have kind of accepted that open queues sort of a joke. Like people do it to like meme or mess around or to relive the glory days of when we didn't have 222. And most people's open queue rank is gonna be like a rank higher than your
Oh,
roll queue rank.
I'm 2 ranks lower than my roll Q rank.
Well, that's what I'm saying, 'cause like I remember seeing your account recently and seeing
Yeah,
that your
I'm
roll queue
like
was lower. Your open queue was lower than your
my
roll
tank
queue.
my tank is like gold and my support's like gold and my
Yeah, yeah.
my
No,
open queue is like well bronze. I'm like okay.
I'm really thinking that you might just, if you just played in open queue and only open queue for like a week, that you would probably climb out of bronze really, really fast, especially because you are confirming, saying that it feels really casual. I think it might just be like everyone kind of openly accepts it and understands that open queue is a bit easier than roll queue, and maybe it's for those reasons that you are putting forth and you're suggesting about the way that the SR gain and loss happens. But like most people, their open queue is higher than their roll queue, and so at least that's been my experience and my friend's experience. So I think maybe you could just be that like you're at a much lower open queue rank than you like truly deserve to be at, and so that might be why it feels so casual. Although I will agree it is, I don't know. At the same time, I'm like, it is kind of a joke. Like, it is kind of like a meme. People are like, oh, we're gonna go to open queue. Let's do 6 DPS. That'll be fun. And then by the end of the match, when you're getting destroyed, you're like, well, I guess we better swap to 222 now that we've like joked around. So I don't know. It could go both ways. I'm kind of on the fence for this one.
It's just so interesting to me. And then the next one is Quickplay becoming a tryhard fest. So roll
Yes.
comp became tryhard, and because now Quickplay is in the 222 format, it has become tryhardy as well. Except the issue with Quickplay being tryhard is you're not rewarded with anything for it. So the default state of
No, no, no,
Overwatch.
no, bro. You get the satisfaction of crushing the enemies beneath your feet.
So like now
That's
that
your reward.
so now like the default state is either roll comp or open comp, and it feels so bad.
Well, actually, my theory about the skill floor of Overwatch rising over time, and whether or not it's a natural skill increase or it's forced by Smurfs, is, in my opinion, debatable. But the skill floor is increasing. We both agree on that. And so, like, my theory is that how this applies into quick play is people that basically do not play comp anymore, and so they've like transitioned to quick play because they don't want to like lose their rank. I have a theory, and it could just be me on hard copium, that there's a lot of people who are in higher ranks than they deserve to be because they got there when the skill floor was a lot lower, and so it was easier to achieve that rank.
They just
And
want to
then
sit
they
there.
started
They don't.
dropping out of that rank, and they still want to play Overwatch, and they don't want to drop out of their rank because their rank is everything to them. And so what they do is
Yeah,
they'll do
I've
their 5 placements every season, and then for the rest, and they'll get like a 50-50 win rate, maybe lose 10 SR, gain 10 SR, whatever. And then they go back and they just do quick play, and they're a quick play warrior for the rest of the season.
I've
And they still try
met
hard in quick play
people.
because they like winning.
I've met
But
people that will get like diamond and they won't touch their comp ever again, and they'll just play
yeah,
quick play.
yeah, yeah.
And it's like,
People
bro,
like that. And then there's people that do it at all ranks, like, and you just see
what?
quick play warriors, and it's like, why are you tryharding here? You go try hard in comp, and it's like they feel like they can't win in comp
No.
anymore. And part of the reason I know this is because me and my friend were like there for a while. Every day we would get on, and this is a different friend than the one
Mhm.
I've mentioned
Mhm.
before, but a more recent friend. But he and I would always be like, should we do comp today? And the conversation we literally have would go something like this. And I don't think we can win in comp. All the games have been really hard recently. Oh, well, I'm really close to deranking. If I lose 2 more games, I'm going to derank. Do you want to just try hard and quick play? Okay. And so like that's literally like there's a solid couple months where like that was the conversation we had every day we got on together. So I think there's a lot more people than who would like to admit it who have that same mentality, and that could also be a big reason why quick play is so try hard now.
Could be. Although also to bring up the next subject,
Mm-hmm.
Overwatch is becoming too comp heavy.
Like too much emphasis on comp.
There's an overemphasis on competitive play, league, and how comp is shaping Overwatch.
I mean, I don't feel like that's the case. I think Owl is like kind of important to ensuring Overwatch still gets decent publicity.
No,
And with all the
I
L's Blizzard's taken lately, the fact that they're really emphasizing
so
like the Overwatch League seasons kind of makes sense to me.
don't get me wrong. I understand why League makes them a shit ton of money. I understand that. And I understand why they want to keep it. It makes them a shit ton of money. But
Yeah, it's
when
publicity.
I but what I'm mostly saying is I'm not even talking about League. League is its own separate thing. Even if Overwatch was to skin out and die off in terms of player base, League would still exist.
For a
Even if
while, probably, before it
even
died.
even as Overwatch got into like the hellish years of zero content, League still existed.
Yeah, I mean,
It's
Overwatch League was kind of a phenomenon when it started. It was kind of like the not the first time you had professional esports publicized like it was like traditional sports, but it was one of the first cases of it being majorly like a ton of money was poured into it. It got big views, it got big numbers. Everyone was like, "It's crazy. These guys are playing video games and they have more fans than like the NFL does. Like this is insane." And then it all got ruined with like them moving over to YouTube and like all the Blizzard drama with all
so
the court cases. But
the other thing. I'm not even talking about leaks. That's a whole other thing.
yeah,
I
yeah.
don't even want to get into. What I mean is specifically, if you play Overwatch, what is there to gain from it? So you have quick play, which is quick matches, instant gratification, bits of dopamine rushes, all that jazz. You have arcade mode. But arcade mode, what is arcade mode? Mostly, mostly it is a death match or it is some competition of 3v3 or
I like Bounty Hunter. That's my
or
favorite arcade
or
mode.
it's a mixture of bounty hunter, capture the flag, or total mayhem. Total mayhem only comes in every 2 weeks, is what it feels like. Capture the
I know
flag
it's
is hardly
tragic.
ever there, and
Bounty Hunter was there today.
so everything else, it's bounty hunter, deathmatch, team deathmatch, or 3v3 or mystery heroes, and then you have classic Overwatch. So when arcade mode is just the side modes you play but longer in waiting for normal Overwatch, what do you gain from them? A little bit of SR, that's about it. You don't really gain much outside of that. So what's the point of playing it? Like, there's no rewards tied to it. The only thing that has rewards tied to it is comp. That's it. That is it. And it's gold weapons. Or it's the special
Some people play for
emotes.
skins, some people play with their friends. Some people play just for
Sure,
enjoyment of having a casual,
sure.
fun gaming
I
experience in a colorful first-person shooter known as Overwatch.
I understand that, but in terms of like what keeps a populace of gamers around, skins, cosmetics, and rewards. Well, where do most of the rewards come from? Winning matches and comp. Sure, you can win them on arcade mode, and that's a really easy way to win them. But when it comes to like the weekly challenges or the challenges for winning games, you don't have to win a specific game mode. You just gotta win. Well, what drives it up faster? Competitive. What else gives you new stuff? Competitive. It's just like the game overall is so comp focused. Balancing is around comp. Everything that is anything is based around comp. The reason they don't make new maps is because they don't want people having a bunch of new maps so that competitive can make a full season out of one set of maps. Like, if I look at other games that aren't super competitive, like, say, even games like Counter Strike, for example, that game is still competitive and it has a normal mode, but they're still getting new, like, 4 maps a year or 5. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I
Like,
I don't know.
it's still getting massive content, even though Counter Strike
Yeah.
is by a Counter Strike is being, by the way, Valve only has 60 developers.
hmm And Blizzard
When
has so much.
around 4,000 active
Yeah.
developers.
I think I I think if your argument is that there's too much emphasis on comp, I fundamentally disagree with that statement. But if you're saying that like in terms of content, like
What
content and
I'm
releases,
what
all we
I'm
get are
saying,
balance patches for comp, I agree that's a thing. It's a
what
thing
I
that
mean
happens.
by
I don't think it's comp's fault though. I think it's just that the devs are
I
not the best
I
at
somewhat
updating the game.
I somewhat blame it on comp because in a competitive mode they have stated the reason they don't add a lot of maps. This is from a few years back. The reason they don't add a lot of maps is they don't want a lot of maps being released and then being put into comp if they're not comp ready. Hence, Lunar Colony and Paris, maps that were released that just aren't great as comp maps, but are okay as quick play maps. I wouldn't want to.
Hmm.
I wouldn't wish Paris on anybody to be played in comp, but
Yeah,
it's
no, they took that out of
but
Quickplay too, though.
but but yeah, they took it out of quick play as well. But like overall, it's not a bad map in quick play, and it's not even Lunar Colony isn't even a terrible map in quick play. Like when I played it in quick play, I didn't mind it all that much. I might have been slightly annoyed, but it's like it's 1 point. It's fine. But it'll be over in like 5 minutes. That's it. In a competitive match, it is awful. But like I go back to like CS:GO. CS:GO has competitive pool and casual pool. There are
Well,
certain
I agree
maps.
with that. I do think that Overwatch should definitely have like a casual pool and a competitive pool because I love 2CP personally, which is a very hot opinion,
I
but I
love
just love
2CP.
2CP,
I would.
and
I
I
wish
don't want them
there's.
to take it out, even though I
I
recognize that
wish.
having like 8 capture point games go on forever and are really
Well,
inconvenient. I do wish they would leave it in quick play, but I don't think that's comp's fault necessarily. I don't think there's too much emphasis on comp. I think it's good to balance competitive games so
so
that they're fair and fun for everyone.
wasn't quite
I think
done.
you're comp pilled, respectfully.
So my other point here is that because the other thing I was going to talk about is that knowing they don't put a lot of maps into the game, the reason I think it's comp's fault is because League is so popular, and the only changes, the only content they add is either a cosmetic or three cosmetics when it's seasonal. They only add
Or
cosmetics
deathmatch
that are
maps.
seasonal or a deathmatch map. They only add to maps to the side modes, not to the main mode. And my issue with this is that it doesn't even have to be a new map. It can be as simple as changing the time of day. That's all over. That's all Overwatch 2 did for most maps. They changed it to night
Yeah,
from
I know, it's been
daytime.
disappointing.
But no, I'm not disappointed by that. I think that's good. Honestly, this is my honest opinion. I love the daytime and nighttime maps because what it does is it gives it a fresh feel. It doesn't even have to
Mhm.
be a new map. It can just be night, day. Kings Row, daytime. Kings Row, nighttime. And you could have on a rotation where it's like Route 66, day. And then 6 games later, I get Route 66, night. And it feels new because it's
Yeah, no, that would
even,
definitely freshen things
it
up.
freshens it up, number one. But number two, the other thing is that if you're not going to add new maps, make a recosmetic of one. Hell, CS:GO has 10 maps in the game that are essentially the same layout, but they're different cosmetically, which makes them feel nice to play because they look different, even though the geometry is the same.
Mhm.
Hence why I think people love the winter aesthetics or the Halloween aesthetics, because even though
Yeah,
it's
no, the Halloween maps, the winter maps are super cute.
so, I feel that one, they could probably get away with night and day, but two, when the last map that was released was for an event, an archival event over 2 years ago for Echo. That was the last time they had a new map for the main game tied to a hero release. Like, come on, guys. One new map. I'm only asking for like one map out of a seasonal event. If you want to limit it to 2 maps, sure, 2 maps or one map a year would make it much better because we went from like 2 3 maps a year
To nothing.
to nothing. And obviously, bad part on them, but like coming forward, what I want to see is at least one new map a year or 2 new maps a year.
No, I 100% agree. That would be amazing to get, a
Because
map every 6 months. I just disagree that comp is the reason why. I think comp is an excuse that the company gave, but I tend to put my blame less with a game mode and more with the people making the game who just aren't giving us new content and who
and
are
the other
just not
thing,
giving us
the
anything.
other point I like to bring up is it doesn't is that I don't even want new characters. I don't want new characters in Overwatch. I don't think it needs any more people. The cast is already wide enough to cover so many different grounds that You could just add from this point onwards new maps, and I feel that people would give it a lot of praise. Because again,
Right. I mean,
you
yeah. I
can,
mean, more tanks and more supports would be nice, but we
yeah.
don't necessarily need
So
them.
I praised this hypothetical to a person before. Which would they rather have? New characters, no new maps, or new maps, no new characters? Most said new maps because even if you take a character you've played to death, like Reinhardt, and you stick it on a new map, it's a new experience. It's a whole new experience with each and every character you play on that map. And that makes
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
fresh.
Yeah. I mean, a unique element of Overwatch is that each of their maps and each of their characters are so different from the other maps and the other characters. Is that like I could play Lucio for 1,000 hours and then go to a different support like Ana and have to completely relearn her from the ground up.
Yeah,
And same with like
that
a
is
map. Like I could play Anubis 1,000 times
that is
over,
true,
and then
but
you could put me on King's Row, and I'd have to learn that map completely from the grounds up. So I think they're both. I think more of both would be good. Just
more
more of
of
both,
both would
Blizzard,
be
please.
nice. But overall, I'm talking about like people. We're not gaining a lot of new people. I'm talking about people that have been here for a while in the community, have been here for at least a year or two. I think new maps would be a long step. And a good first step they've been doing is night and day. That'll be literally Route 66 morning, Route 66 night. That literally changes a lot. One, because the daytime stage is the OG stage and the nighttime stage has extra geometry. So it
Hmm.
shifts things minorly. There's like one or two new cars here or there. That shift makes you play a little different, which is nice. Just it can be small things like that. It doesn't even have to be a new map. It could just you add little bits of geometry here and there for the day and night time. So it's differences in stages. That I feel would make playing these maps again a lot more enjoyable because it's like, oh, what do I get? The nighttime. Oh, this is how we're gonna play, versus how I had played differently in the daytime.
I think we'll be at a disagreement on this point, just because I just think the company needs to get a fire under their behind and get Overwatch 2 out and get new maps and new characters out. Just because,
Oh,
I don't know.
I would love both, but knowing Blizzard, it's gonna be one or the other, and I would much prefer new maps than new characters.
Okay, I can respect it. I can respect it.
Also, I'm gonna laugh at when the battle. Also, side part when they said we're releasing 22 new skins with the battle pass, and I thought to myself, bitch, you could hardly include 6 skins in your seasonal updates.
Yeah, and there's 6 recolored skins too.
And it's like, bitch, if you can't even do 6 normal skins in an update, limiting it to only 3 for the past 3 years, I doubt you're gonna be able to do a battle pass
I
every.
mean, maybe that's why Overwatch 2's taken like 3 extra years to come out. They're just making the 22 new skins, Cactus.
It also it also still bugs me that I'm gonna bring up CS:GO again, and people are gonna hate me for it. But Valve, they have 60 developers, and you have like 15 of them are in CS:GO, and you have consistently every 4 months a new crate drops. That crate contains 10 to 15 cosmetics. Sure, it's
I
only for
mean,
your.
yeah. Well, look at other successful like FPS games as well, like Apex. Like they just got a new character. They're constantly getting new stuff. They have a map rotation, and I
Now,
don't play Fortnite, so I'm not gonna pretend to understand it. But from what I do know, they have like tons and tons and tons of new
so
cosmetics,
from what
like
I
cool ones, dropping
from
constantly.
well, Fortnite it can get away with it because it's a pop culture thing, where they can literally it's becoming a ripple of pop culture. So because it's like Smash Bros for everyone else,
Hmm.
corporate Smash Brothers. Um. Anyways, but I feel Blizzard could add more content in different ways. Something that I've brought up to somebody is why not have silver guns or platinum guns or like extra tidbits or something. Here's what I brought up to someone else as another idea for an idea here. You ready?
Yep, I'm ready. Lay it on me.
So, the way that I view this is you have silver, gold, and platinum. Each are, you know, you can use them in competitive or anywhere else you want. Then you
The
have
weapons.
then you have client side skins. Now, here's what I mean by client side. Client side skins are skins that only show up on your end of Overwatch. Stuff that only shows up on your end. Because I don't want Soldier's Gun having zany pink and black and white zebra stripes on it. That would be fucking horrendous.
I mean, that sounds actually kind of fabulous.
I think it would be horrendous to look at, but what I mean is have gun skins, but they're client wise. Meaning the only universal skins are silver, gold, and platinum. Or if you want to add bronze to that, bronze as well. And you can purchase those with a certain amount of competitive SR points. The other client wide skins you purchase through XP. Say you make XP a thing you can use as your, or you want to do it through Overwatch coins, okay? Earn a certain amount of Overwatch coins, this is what it costs, right?
hmm
I take the skin and say it's a checkered zebra skin of black and white on Soldier. It's only for my client, and I only see it on my screen. So they don't.
I don't know what would be so bad about having other people be able to see the crazy gun skins. Like, why not let everyone see it, you know?
Mainly, I think it would make a lot of. Overwatch already can't handle good golden gun models. I wouldn't want them to try to build on their servers run more complex textures.
Mhm. All right.
Or say you weren't going to just make it client wide skins, that it's like server wide skins. Client wide, server wide doesn't matter to me. The thing is here you have skin crates like in CS:GO or in Fortnite or in Valorant or in Apex. You have gun skins and you have normal skins. So gun skins and normal skins are separated. Then you have the universal silver, gold, and platinum. So competitive still has silver, gold, and platinum. SR stuff you gotta get for characters. The other skins for your guns you can get from anyone else with Overwatch coins, and the normal skins you have to earn through loot boxes. That I feel makes a balanced form of content. For the tryhards, you have these three things which are regarded as high amounts of competitive play because it takes a long time to get those things.
hmm
You have the normal skins for the everyday casual Overwatch people doing loot boxes and grinding it out through arcade mode. And then you have the gun skins for everybody and anybody.
Yeah.
However they want to play the
I'm,
game.
I mean, it could just be I never cared that much about skins. I have one or two skins I really like, but other than that, I don't try to collect them or get them all or
I'm just
get
talking about in
ones I
terms.
like. I just sort of never
I'm.
got the people that collect skins of or gold weapons or things like that.
I think it's just because it's a difference in how the character looks that makes it unique to certain situations, that makes it interesting to have and play and fight against. Now, with that being said, I just like the idea of having stuff to work towards. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I feel that. I probably, even if they did institute this system, I still wouldn't like care about it necessarily. I would not try to like be saving up to get, oh, I'm gonna get my gold weapon. Like I would still care more about trying to hit diamond or masters or whatever rank I was like working towards, you know?
Yep, I can definitely see where you're coming from. It's just for everyone else, more stuff to work towards.
Yeah, fair enough. I do know some people that barely play Overwatch. They just play for the gold guns. Like they want to get a gold gun for every character, but they don't even like Overwatch that much. So I do understand that there's people um like that playing the game. but do you feel like even including the system would like bring in like that many of
Well,
those types of people who just play for the game? Because I feel like
I think of it like TF2. TF2, even though it's not being updated for about, let's see, Junk Inferno came out 2016, so 5 years. It's been 5 years since we had a last update in TF2. They're still releasing cosmetic crates, and people are still buying keys to open them. People are still buying skins for their guns. People are still working towards getting cosmetics in the game by crafting them. I think implementing any kind of, like, even a skin system that's in TF2 through crafting it, through playing the game and earning it, or getting random drops, or doing the contracts or buying them in crates, it's making Valve a fuck ton of money. And it's keeping people playing Team Fortress 2 for long hours.
yeah, fair enough. I mean, Blizzard will have to find some way to make money off of Overwatch, and so it wouldn't surprise me if they instituted a system like you said. I don't know if it'll be exactly like you
I
described,
don't
but
mean to say
if
it
they,
for them just to make money, but I mean to say it mainly because
well, they are a corporation. That's their
they
goal, right?
will. Yep. I just mainly say it because if they implemented something like that, it would probably drive up just casual gameplay overall. Because think of it like this: if you were to play Overwatch, but you have an incentive, which are you more likely to play? Overwatch because you want to play with a few friends, but your friends also own a few other games to play, or Overwatch because you like a couple of the incentives that are there.
Yeah, no, like what you're saying, it brings people in. It also makes it feel like you said earlier,
You're
it's
working
another
towards something.
reward besides SR. Like you were talking a bit earlier about how you feel like the only reward you get from comp is you just get like a little bit of SR,
That's why
or or you get like a little bit of coins for gold guns. So yeah, that it could definitely provide more incentive for people to get into comp and
that's why
into other game
like
modes in Overwatch.
that's why like the Fortnite Battle Pass, Apex and all that, those battle passes work so well because a battle pass is a constant stream of content and rewards. You play the game, you get rewards. Basic fundamental. Each time you get a
Yeah.
reward, it's a dopamine hit. Each time. And because of that, you continue to play. You get more shit. You continue to play. You get more shit. Even if it's shit you don't use, or you're never going to use because you don't like it, there's still something down the line you like. So you're going to keep leveling up to get it. As soon as you get it, oh, I got this. Oh, there's something else I like even further down the line. So you keep playing and playing and playing and playing and playing.
Yeah, yeah, you're making a good point. You're making a good point.
So it just continues to have them play the game. That's why a battle pass is so popular versus events. Because a battle pass you can slap and have it go out for 6 months and then just have another one. An event, you
Mhm.
have to spend time and money into having an event and then making sure it's free so it's not considered gambling with loot boxes.
Yeah.
Battle pass is guaranteed content as long as you play it.
I mean, they are coming out with a battle pass for Overwatch 2. I remember seeing them talking about it and advertising it. I think if you like bought Overwatch 2 early access, you also got like the first month of the battle pass or
By the way,
something.
don't
But it doesn't
don't
matter like
buy
whether or not they're gonna.
don't buy the package. It's not worth it.
No, I did not. I just signed up all of my accounts and like a couple of them got in.
Well, so the
I just wanted the
reason
early access. That's the only thing I would have cared about, bro. Just getting access to the beta.
we still don't know when I'm gonna get some water. My throat's getting dry. I'll be right back.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, I'm back.
Welcome back, welcome back.
So, yeah, we were talking about battle passes. For everyone out there, I've said this multiple times. Wait until it's out. I don't know what. So people are complaining. Oh, it's getting a battle pass. It's going to be so expensive. We don't know the price of the battle pass. We don't even know what's in the battle pass.
Watch it be like the really nice skins, like the golden skins and such.
Well, I said it could be as shitty as having 30 of the rewards being common red, green, blue, yellow things for everyone else. Or it could be amazing and have amazing, legendary, and epic skins in it.
I bet it's gonna be the latter. I just don't see Overwatch Battle Pass making money if they don't put really epic legendary loot in it because like the whole game's gonna be free to play, right? Except for the Battle Pass, that's where they're
No,
gonna make a
except the
lot of their
campaign.
money.
Except for the campaign. Campaign you gotta pay
Oh,
for.
the campaign is gonna be paid?
Yep.
Intriguing. I had
Multiplayer
not
is
heard
free.
that.
Yeah, multiplayer is free. Campaign you gotta pay for.
Is it gonna be the same price as the like
We
most
don't know.
games, like 50,
We
60?
we have no idea. We have no idea how much the battle pass
'Cause
is, and no
I
idea
would
how
pay
much the
sixty
campaign is.
dollars for a whole game, but I wouldn't pay $60 for just the campaign for part of a game and then be expected to pay for a battle pass as well.
I surmise that the game will probably cost $50, and the battle pass will probably cost 15 to 20. Mind you,
Yeah,
the $50
15
is
to
for
20 sounds about right.
the campaign is set in stone, so it's not changing, which I find most people will probably end up either buying the campaign or buying the battle pass. I don't think they'll get both. Um,
I can see them doing a deal, like big release, like pay instead of paying $75 for the $50 for the campaign and 15 for the battle pass, pay 60 and then you get both the battle pass and for like the first month and the campaign for like a big opening Overwatch 2 like opening, I guess. I already said that,
unless
but
they're doing this Fallout 76 style where, oh, we released chapter 1 of the campaign. Now here's chapter 2. Would you like to buy your subscription for a high amount of money for limited? I hope it's not the 76 route. God,
I don't know.
I hate Fallout First. Anyways, we are done with the subject.
I haven't played it.
We are done with the subject matter, and we're into the pre-ramble. If you want to talk about anything Overwatch related, non to the subject, or non-Overwatch related, here's your time.
Trying to think if there's any more of my crazy Overwatch theories that I have not talked about. I already talked about Skillful Rising. I talked about people essentially not wanting to fall out of ranks they don't belong in.
I know something.
Oh.
I got mad earlier this week.
Okay.
So, early in Overwatch's early time, there was a mystery of Ana, Reaper, and Soldier because Pharah didn't know who her father was, and there was voice lines of Ana flirting with Soldier and Ana flirting with Reaper. And the fan theory was that Ana fucked either one of the two of them, and one of them is Pharah's dad. Because...
Isn't he...
Yeah, I'm getting to that. And then Soldier had like voice lines with Pharah that kind of sounded like fatherly, same with Reaper. And then, in a fucking sticker spray, they release that, oh, it's neither one of them. Also, in some rando update, Soldier's gay and so is Reaper.
Well, I was gonna say, as far as dad, and I just checked this on Overwatch Wikia, so I don't know how trustworthy that is, but normally fan Wikias are pretty thorough, and I was thinking that her father's Canadian, and I just confirmed it on the Overwatch Wikia. It's a Canadian dude, and it was in the comics.
Later on in the comics, yes, but her father was first confirmed in a fucking spray.
Mm.
And then the first thing it was shot down by, it was a fun little mystery. It was a fun mystery for fans. It didn't need an answer. It was just little voice lines that were fun and interesting. And then oh, Soldier's gay. Well,
Also, is Reaper gay?
yeah, he is.
He is?
Hmm.
Are you sure you're not just seeing a little bit too much Soldier 76 times Reaper fan
No,
service here? Because I
no,
know the
I
fans,
thought no,
people really
cause
like that pairing.
no, cause Blizzard confirmed that Soldier is gay. They did
Yeah, I
confirm
know
that,
that for sure, for
and
sure.
I think I remember that Reaper was confirmed to be gay. Either way, even if not, it kind of ruins the whole
He's
mystery of the
probably not
whole.
far as dad.
Yeah, but it ruined that whole like fan mystery for me, where it's like,
Mhm.
really, like even if Soldier was committed gay, it's like, did Reaper fuck Anna? Is he the father? Is he not the father? And it's
Mhm.
like that whole dynamic. Even if Soldier wasn't involved, it would still been a fun little mystery. Nope, nope, mystery gone.
And then
Mystery,
they just
stomp on it.
expanded upon the lore in the comics. Oh, so that's your personal gripe. See, my
Well, my
okay, what I'm
my my personal gripe is not that they expanded the lore, is that the fan theory existed for years and was a fun talking point in the community, and it's like, no, we're gonna stomp on this. We're gonna stomp on this right here. No, it's like, okay, but do we learn anything more about Farah and her father? Do we learn anything about Farah in the comic book as her father? Nope, just that his father was not one of the two. That's it. That's my gripe, is that it
Mhm.
didn't add
See,
anything.
have you have you heard of the theory that I think it was that like Ryan, you know how Ryan and Torb are friends
Hmm.
and there's sprays where Ryan and Torb and his wife and their kids and like Brig are all like in the spray. There's some theory that people came up with that like Ryan or Torbjorn's wife had cheated on him with Reinhardt at some point because they're looking at one of Brig's siblings and I guess they're saying something about like recessive genes and how like if you like have two parents that are light haired, then all the children should like also have light hair. And there's like something about redhead having like a weird recessive gene, and they were like, if you look at the kids, like one of the kids like has a different color hair, so that must mean that
That
like
I've
Torbjorn's not the father. And people were like, Reinhardt cheated, or Reinhardt didn't cheat. Torb's wife cheated on him with Reinhardt.
I seen that. I
And
seen
one
that.
of Brig's sisters is actually only her half sister or
I
something
seen
like
that
that, and
theory.
I just think that's hilarious.
Well, I saw the theory, but then what doesn't really hold water for the theory is when you look at the archive event in Torb's old get up when he's in like the wife beater skin or whatever, where he has like the wife beater on, and
Mhm.
he's like going in like the mechanic shop. He has red hair.
Yeah,
So like
he had like
when
blonde hair in
Torb
one and like
when
red hair in
Torb
another.
when Torb was married and he was fucking, he had red hair. That's why their hair
Hmm.
is the way it is. He fucking got older and it mellowed out into like a
Yeah,
blonde
yeah,
brown.
it got lighter.
He's because he's
That's just the
fucking
theory
old.
I read once.
It's just I don't know. It just I don't mind it when lore expands upon things, but when lore expands purely just to stomp out a fan theory, but it doesn't
It
add
feels
anything.
cruel.
But it doesn't add anything. It's like, okay, so you did this just because then it confirms like you did it just to stomp it out. Because
Oh,
what is Soldier being
okay.
gay add? Nothing. What is
Well, I mean, I like the queer representation.
I
I like
don't
that
I don't
Tracer's
mind
a
it.
lesbian, that Soldier's
No,
gay and stuff.
I don't mind that. It's not why I don't like it. I don't. The reason I don't like it is because there's no interactions of him being like
Oh, I
there's
would love it if there was interactions and it talked about.
like
It might be
with
too a little bit too political for Blizzard,
I
but
don't
I would
know
love it if there was
because like
interactions. They talked about it, or I think isn't it in the comics? There's
nope.
a little bit about Tracer
No,
being
Tracer's gay.
queer because she's
Yeah,
her
because
girlfriend, and they talk about like lesbian issues like a little bit. But
so
I would love it if they brought that to the game.
so
Maybe I'm being too politically
I don't
correct though.
I don't mind Soldier being gay. That's not why I don't like it. I don't like it because it felt like it came out of left field. It's like Tracer, yeah, she's gay. If you looked at her, you wouldn't know that. But that's okay because even in the comics, it's sweet. It's innocent. She's friends with Winston. She has shared moments with Winston in the like Christmas comics and the other comics. It's just generally good. There's other characters that are gay in the Overwatch fandom and as characters that it's okay because generally speaking for me they show it off. But it's done in a way that's natural. It's shown off
Ah, it feels like a
naturally.
part of their
It
character.
feels as if that was
Yeah.
them versus hey, Soldier's gay. Did you not know that? And it's like, when? When did he
Yeah,
ever
there's something
show
to be
that?
said for companies trying to just like stamp like, hey, we're just gonna make do this for the sake of it being political correctness or do this for the sake of trying to seem progressive instead of actually caring about like, hey, this soldier is gay. Let's make that a core part of his identity, or let's put something in the comics about his backstory besides like one line and then confirmation on Twitter where it's like, yeah, he gay.
But
So
it
I
doesn't.
could agree with that.
I can
It
see
doesn't feel like
him.
a
I can
part of
see
his
him that way.
character.
It just it felt completely out of left field because, like, well, when did it ever show up in his character or anything else? He doesn't ever speak about it. It doesn't ever come up at all. It's kind of like if someone said, "Oh, Reaper's into knitting." Okay, it,
Yeah, it'd be like
I
one thing if you say Reapers in the knitting and that's the end of the story. It'd be another thing if they put like a emote of him pulling out his like yarn and needles and like crocheting a table mat or something.
because then
I
it's
don't
like
know. I don't
then
knit.
because then if he was doing that, it'd be like kind of cute, and it would add to him like, oh,
Hmm.
he has a soft side, but otherwise, like, okay, I guess that's
Yeah, I
something.
think it'd be definitely cool if they put in some more soldier like voice lines, or if they put like a spray of like him and his. Cause they confirmed that he like had a boyfriend at one point. I think is how it is like one line in the comics. He talks about like an ex lover or boyfriend or something, and he had to confirm on Twitter that like yes, he's actually gay. You know, they could like expand on that and like make a whole new comic arc about that. But
It just
who knows whether or
bugs.
not they'll actually do that?
It
It'd be
just
nice though.
bugs me though, because back to the whole like, I'm gonna harp on this for a bit, but those voice lines that allude to that sort of thing, yeah, they're still in the game. So the developers knew this is what the fan mystery was. We're putting these voice lines in the game that allude to this very thing. Then we're gonna stomp it out, but we're also gonna leave these in. What? Why? Because now it just makes everything more confusing for a newcomer. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel that. I mean, I think they did
Also,
a good job with Tracer at
oh,
least. She
side
has
bit,
several voice lines relating to Emily's and a lot of the comics.
side bit. The name change when McCree went from McCree to Cassidy.
Oh,
Here's what I
McCrassity.
no. Here's what I found funny. All the voice lines where anyone says McCree, they just clipped it out. So Moira will say, I think it was like Moira says, "Oh, Jesse," and he's like, "Yes, Doc." It's just be like, "Oh," and then she doesn't say Jesse. It's just like, "Oh, yes, Doc,"
I call
or
him McCrassity personally because I am too trained into saying McCree to fix it. But like also, I think the reasoning for the name change was good, so I try to honor it. But like I'm so used to saying McCree, that's what I tend to aim
if
towards,
you
and so I kind
say,
of
"I
compromised
don't
with
see,"
McCrassity.
here's my general take on it. I didn't know that there was a guy named McCree in Blizzard until the thing came out, but I only knew about it because the allegation of that case came out. Otherwise, when I said McCree, I was referring to a cowboy, not the CEO.
Yeah.
In terms of how they handled it, it's not for me to judge. It's okay, it's whatever. It happened. In terms of players, I don't think most people give enough of a shit. Like, you can say McCree, people won't give a shit. The only people that are going to give a shit are the people who are like, oh no, you need to call him Cassie. It's like, it's so negative. But by
Well,
that
also
time,
it's funny to me because they changed his name because they were like, "Oh, we don't like the association of this guy who's had these allegations of like these assaults and all these bad behavior, right?" So they changed his name to Cassidy after Butch Cassidy, a famous cowboy, right? But like have you read any of like the novels about like Butch Cassidy or what do you call not autobiographies, just biographies about
he's
Butch Cassidy? Like
not a good
he did
dude.
all he's not a good dude. Yeah, he did a lot of worse stuff because he it was like the Wild West, the 1800s. They didn't treat women the best. Especially when they were already criminals.
Mm.
They didn't treat women the best. So it's just funny that that's the person they
Ah,
replaced his
yes.
name with is
Ah,
Butch
yes.
Cassidy, and I'm just like,
Harassment
all right,
allegations against
Blizzard.
women. Let's name him Cole Cassidy. Oh yeah, the guy that fucked a bunch of women
The
over
guy
and treated
that
him like shit.
literally
Ah
the
yes, this is a smart idea.
yeah,
Ironic.
I know. I was like, but
Irony.
Blizzard, come on, Blizzard.
Blizzard, why? Anywho, I
But
don't think you'll find most people that gave a shit didn't actually give a shit. They were just on the
mhm.
bandwagon. Most people today that like, I'll say McCree to, if they do make a fuss, I'm like, why? I'm gonna call them. You either ignore me, or you just listen to the call out. It's not gonna kill you.
Yeah, most people I think are understand that some people just got used to saying McCree on the left, McCree behind, McCree has high noon for like 6 years, and so it's hard to break those habits.
But again, I don't think most people will give a shit. Like even if you have like a newcomer
Oh
and
no,
say,
for sure.
"Oh, Cassidy up front," and you're like, "Okay," and then you say McCree, and it's like McCree. Yeah, that's what it used to be. Oh, okay.
Yeah, and his name got changed because of like lawsuit
You
reasons,
don't even
and
have to
like
say
that's
that.
it.
You'll
That's the end
just
of the conversation.
I've just said like, "Oh, it's what I use is what it used to be called." Okay, and then you just say McCree behind, and they respond. It's like, okay, that's how it is. Off topic as well. Why? Oh, why? I I don't understand this. People will like there have been a bunch of people who say like, "Oh, Zen Brig is the meta right now," and like, let's do Zen Brig in a bronze game. Like,
Is it?
we're all gonna fucking die. Uh, Zen
Well, I
Brig.
mean,
So
they both have.
right now, in high elo play, like in Plat and Diamond, Zen Brig is the meta because in Plat and Diamond, they're hyper aggressive. So you stick a Discord on someone, everyone dives them, and you kill them. And Brig is able to heal everyone just enough to keep them up. And it's based off of if you always jump the person who's discorded, they always die. And it's a constant rolling stone. The issue with this is everyone else now wants to
Yeah, that's
try.
how Zen Brig works.
Yep, but everyone else now at a lower elo wants to
And
try
then
Zen
you
Brig.
normally what happens is you trade your. Normally what happens is you trade Zens. The Zen discords the other Zen, and it's whoever can kill the enemy Zen first wins the fight. Except that then on the other hand, you have Brig, who like is extremely survivable support. She's got the AOE, she's got the self heals AOE, she's got the armor, she got the shield bash stun, and so like you're essentially just like hoping your Zen and your dive's gonna kill the enemy Zen first, and then like if your Zen does die, you still have Brig, who's like really hard to kill,
Now, in a side
and
note,
that's why it's so
Brig
good.
sucks in Overwatch 2 because of the damage increase of DPS. Reaper walks up on you,
Hmm.
fucking headshot, you're dead. True.
Yeah,
That's
I
true. That's
suppose.
true as Zenyatta. Difference here. Zenyatta can discord and snipe him in the head and usually kill Reaper. Brig, well, she can't. The only way she can push you back is with a whip shot, and you don't get stunned on a shield bash. Her shield is really low, and she doesn't heal a lot when she whips you.
Are they
So
gonna buff her shield so it's not made
no,
of paper anymore? Because
nope.
without her stun, her shield doesn't really serve a whole lot of
If
purpose.
anything, they're gonna nerf it because they nerfed Reinhardt's shield.
Ay ay ay.
Ryan's shield is 1,000. It's not fun. It's not fun at all. One full Reaper clip. That's how much you can survive. One full Reaper clip. After the sixth shot, your shield's dead and it's
I
slowly
mean, I'm looking
recharging.
forward to playing ball in Overwatch 2.
He's not great
I,
either.
after playing so long in Plat Diamond, I'm just the idea of solo tanking actually appeals to me because every time I play ball, the off tank chooses Hog, and it feels like I'm solo tanking. So I'm ready to be the only tank on my team, so that at least my team doesn't like follow this Hog on his some stupid flank route into the enemy backline where they all die.
By the
Like
way,
I kind of am down for like the
McCree
solo
Sticky
tank.
Bomb is overpowered, more so than his flashbang. So,
Mm-hmm.
this
Oh,
will
also lack of
sound
stuns, of course.
this will sound easy if you've played TF2, but it functions similar. So Soldier in TF2, similar to Pharah, Pharah has a similar thing. The closer you are to the ground as Pharah, the more damage your rockets do. Keep that in mind. Same thing with McCree. So if you hit your little bomb that goes out quite a ways, the closer you are to them, the more damage it does in the explosion. Well, the reason this is overpowered is because it sticks to you, and it takes about 2 seconds and a half to explode. So you can throw it, and then walk up to them, and then it explodes. You take a little bit of the damage, and they die. What's so bad about it is you can stick it on a tank and then walk away, maybe get close when the 2 second hits, like behind them, just walking with them, and they'll be heavily damaged. It's annoying. Same thing with a Pharah. A Pharah will like fly down, you hit them with the bomb, they either fly up really high and usually consume a lot of fuel and get shot down by the other DPS, or they fly in really close and get killed from the bomb just to try to take you out. Mm-hmm. It's worse than like an outright
I mean,
stun.
I don't know. McCree's flashbang in Overwatch 1 kind of represented like a guaranteed kill. Like if you were smart, you didn't have to have good aim. You just had to be a little bit smart about when to use your flashbang and like where to stand, and you could pretty much guarantee a kill every fight as McCree,
The
like at
way
any
that
elo, I feel like.
the way
And
that
so I feel
I
like they had to find a way to keep that sort of playstyle in without keeping a stun in, because they wanted to
it's like a
reduce the amount of
Junkrat.
stuns in
It's like a
Overwatch 2.
Junkrat mine. The issue being now the like a Junkrat mine, it does explosion damage, which hits a lot of other people on the McCree. So unlike a flashbang, where you flashbang someone and you can get a guaranteed kill on the one person if you're right with your flashbang, you throw the bomb like you literally are throwing the bomb like a Junkrat mine. You're just kind of hoping there's one or two people next to the mine.
Mhm.
You can throw it,
I mean,
boom, it
yeah,
explodes.
that feels like dumb, but again, like they had to find a way to continue to balance McCree. You can't just get rid of all his abilities and just have him be like a
No,
little mini
I
Widowmaker that
wish,
just hit scans people.
I wish they would kept his stun in. The one stun that I wish they'd keep in, because honestly, I played the beta, and when Roadhog normal health plus the increase in damage, when he goes from his normal health to, it does like 120 damage, the bomb itself. So you just need to stick the bomb on someone and get one body shot on like any other DPS, and it's an instant kill still.
Yeah, but it's the constant kill without the stun. That's
But I feel
the
that's more.
allure of it. That's why it
I
works so
think
well for him.
I
But I
think
also haven't played the Overwatch 2 beta recently,
so.
so
I feel that's more cheap in my opinion, because I could get one body shot on McCree, which is pretty easy. I don't even have to get a headshot on any DPS that is 200 health, which is anyone who is 200 health and below. Anyone who's at 200 health, I need to get one body shot on. Anyone who's 200 health below, I don't even need the body shot.
does he still have his right click?
Yeah.
I wish they would just take out his right click. Like, I'd be okay with them leaving the
So
flashbang if they took out the right click. Force them to
so
aim for the head.
so he does one body shot on two. Say he does Reaper. Reaper gets hit with a body shot, and he gets the bomb. He doesn't drop the bomb if he wraiths, so it takes about 2 seconds for it to explode. So you latch it on them, you wait 2 seconds, then it explodes. The issue with this that I have is with a flashbang, it's instantaneous, and if you did it, you succeeded. If you didn't, you fucked it up, and you're probably gonna die from it. McCree can just hit a random bystander with his one gun, throw the bomb on him, walk away, and usually get one or two kills for free. That's the issue that I think a lot of people are having right now with it.
I guess I'll have to see how it is when I play Overwatch 2. I wouldn't be surprised if it really is as strong than them nerfing it down to like 100 damage instead of 120. Make it so you can still get a good like guaranteed kill on a 200 health squishy, but not on someone that has a bit more like Reaper.
Also,
Do you want to
Junkrat
know
is
what
so overpowered.
do you want to know what my change for Overwatch is that I have been trying to suggest for so long?
What?
And if okay, so I literally tell this theory to everyone. I probably already told it to you, but I think a really good change for Ball, and I'm not saying this as a based Ball main, okay, maybe I am. I think a really good change for Ball would be if they had him D-mech like Diva D-mechs. And so like you kill Wrecking Ball and like his hamster ball is destroyed, but like the little hamster is still alive. And like let's say the little hamster doesn't have a gun. It has like a melee attack that does like 50 damage and it like runs around. It's like 100 HP. He like runs
That
around like
would
biting people's ankles.
that would
I
be
think that would be
cute. It would
hilarious
be hilarious, but
and
I
amazing.
don't think it would be well.
You could like play around with it though to make it work. Because
I'll modify.
Baby Diva has.
Here's what I'll do. Here's what I'll do for you. I'll modify your idea and give you something in return and see. I think this will be more plausible. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
So after he ults, so what you do is you make his ult 25% stronger, so it does 25% more damage. After
Yeah.
he
Okay.
okay, so after he ults, he sheds off the outer layer of his armor. It's like all of the armor, the mines explode out of him. His outer armor comes off. He takes 25% more damage for the duration his mines are up, or 35% more damage. That I could see being a good change to him, meaning that his mines go out, he takes more damage after his mines are out, so he can't get a guaranteed area denial. He has to still stay in the fight. When he's in the fight, you know, eventually after mines go away, then he gets his armor back.
Yeah, I don't care necessarily about balancing Ball. I think he's in a
No,
decent
I
place
think he's in a
right
decent
now.
spot as well, but
I
I
just
think
think it'd be adorable and it would make the character feel really fresh if he basically was like Baby Diva, where you could
I
demech
don't
him
know.
and then you have to kill the hamster afterwards.
I don't
And
know. I
I
think
think I'd even be fine with them making it really, really easy to kill the hamster. Like he has no ranged attack and does
it's
like
already easy
50
to kill
damage per
Ball.
melee. Like I think that I would even be fine with that. I just think it'd be really funny and it would make the character a lot more fun to play. Because if you did live somehow and managed to not die, imagine just a little hamster running around in the enemy backline trying to like bite melee people just so he could get his ult back. I think that would make the character
Currently
really, really fun,
in
and I really want to see really cute hamster animation too.
in Overwatch 2, Hog and Ball are the worst tanks to play. Hog because he has no armor.
I'm sad.
So Hog doesn't
I'm
have
still gonna
any.
play Ball, but I'm sad.
Okay, so Hog doesn't have any armor, and his healing only heals as normal. So because of that, the damage increase really hurts him the most. Ball isn't all that great because the whole issue with Ball, the whole greatest thing about Ball, is he's a distraction for the enemy team to push in. Problem: when you leave your team, there's now your team versus a tank in their team. You still disrupt the
Hmm.
back line, but now they have to fight an overpowered tank plus their team. And the only thing Ball can do is attack the back line, but because the increased amount of damage, say you take on a Reaper, or say we take on just a McCree, doesn't have a stun anymore. He does he does 35% more damage, plus that grenade chops a ball down to almost under half health. With half his, so McCree pops 2 shots in you and sticks a grenade on you. You're down to almost half health. Anyone shoots you
Yeah.
at all, it burns through your shield so fast that now the whole team either focuses you and you die, now your team doesn't have a tank, or they don't and they ignore you, you get one healer, they kill most of your other team, and then you die.
I mean, I acknowledge that one of Ball's strengths that will not carry over to Overwatch 2 is his ability to get stuns out. When I'm playing against a team that's really, really good, to the point where I can't isolate, I can't disrupt because they'll kill me instantly, I stop playing to like get a kill, solo kill. I stop playing to try to disrupt. I play to get all of the enemy stuns out. Like I want to force them to use sleep and hook and bash and discord and flashbang and all of their other resources so that my team can go into the fight with all their abilities and then the enemy team can go into the fight with like no abilities and hopefully I live so that I can go into the fight as well again. And so I at some of the like higher levels just play to get stuns out. And in Overwatch 2, if there's like
The
not a lot of stuns, the Ball loses that inherent value, so I acknowledge that's
The
gonna be
other inherent
rough.
value that he loses is there's no temp shield anymore, and there's no temp armor anymore, so it's just overhealth. Overhealth, while it doesn't deal any uh, alt charge when they hit you, it is flat health, meaning there's no resistance. So
Mm-hmm.
unlike Ball before, where he gains temp shield, and temp
Yeah,
shield
shield.
resists and temp shield, by the way, resists a flat 25% damage. In Overwatch 1, temp shield is a flat 25% damage decrease. That's why Ball can like go in, pop his shield, and then survive and get out. Now Ball pops his shield, it's over health. They hit you twice, and your over health is gone because it's like pure health, but it doesn't give them anything. So now your shield is almost worthless.
Yeah, I feel that. I mean, I've already been practicing Rhine and Monkey too, in anticipation of those tanks being a lot better than like Ball, which is my normal go-to.
Monkey is annoying as fuck because now he has a long range bolt attack that does 80 damage on a full charge, and you can harass so many DPS with it. It's so fucking annoying.
But I just think I'm almost a bit. It almost gives me a bit of hope that I think you're saying Ball's going to be really weak when Overwatch 2 first drops because when Overwatch 2 first drops, it's going to be like when Overwatch 1 first dropped. And there were characters that were so overpowered and so broken, and then other characters got we got tons of
I'm sure they'll
balance
get some
changes, right?
buffs. I'm sure they'll get some
So
buffs
So
eventually.
Ball's gonna go in really weak, and then like after the
But
first couple seasons, he'll get a good buff,
what
is my hope,
I
and they'll pay him
what
some
I
love,
fear
pay him some attention.
what I fear though is because of the new system with no temp shield or no temp armor. If they change it to shield, he'll be really overpowered because that's still a flat 25% loss.
give give the hamster 1,000 HP permanently, cowards. Let him be the only 1,000 HP tank. No, I'm not biased. What? Why would I be biased?
I feel though the weakest of all the tanks is Hog. Hog is so bad. He
I mean, Hog essentially acts as a third DPS in a lot of cases, and if you
no
don't
like
have a tank at
he's
all, he can't do that, right? He can't
the
do that anymore.
no the biggest issue with Hog is tanks have a natural resistance to other tanks. So Reinhardt, so tanks do 50% less damage to other tanks.
Hmm.
So Hog can no longer be an effective, oh, I hooked the diva and then killed her, or demeched her, or oh, I hooked the ball and fucked him over. Now it's, oh, I hooked the ball, he got away, and I only did like 25% of his health.
Hmm.
Hog is an alt battery, but he doesn't have his passive anymore that reduces alt charge from the enemy team. He's
Oh, they
just
took that away
pure.
from him?
Yeah, he doesn't have that anymore. So now he's just pure health.
Wow.
He's
Do
literally an.
all tanks have a passive though that reduces ult charge?
Everybody has a passive now. So the passives include every tank does 50% less damage to other tanks. They also have all armor is a flat 35% damage resistance. Also, all tanks have a natural resistance to CC pushing or any kind of disruption.
I'm here for that.
So that's what all tanks have.
I love it.
DPS have a speed increase, and they also have, I think it's like a 10% speed increase and a 35% damage increase. Healing
What
got
about the
nerfed.
ult charge?
Oh, alt charge overall is reduced by 50% on everyone.
Hmm.
Also, another big issue healing is reduced by 35% on all healers.
Is that the most recent numbers? Because
Yes,
okay, okay, wow. That is a lot.
that
Yeah,
is
no one's
the
gonna want to play support. I better start practicing
um
now so I can get fast queues and
the
play
no
support.
the best supports right now to play in Overwatch 2 are Zen, Lucio, and BAP. The reason
Yo, that's what I want to hear as a Lucio and Bat
so
player.
I explained this before in a different podcast, but the general gist here is that because you got to think about it in terms of healing per value. Ana is not so great anymore because even though she's alt
I'm fine
charging,
with that.
she gets one maybe 1 nano per game, maybe 2 if you're lucky. But her healing is not super great. What's broken about Ana is her hitbox on her anti-nade. So, you know how before it was just a flat explosion?
Hmm.
Like explosion hitbox? Now
Yeah, yeah. Flash damage.
each individual drop is its own hitbox. So you could throw it at the top of a ceiling and anti a whole team.
That feels like it's good, not bad.
It's bad because of it only makes her overpowered for one ability she has. She's not a good healer otherwise.
Doesn't she still have her sleep? She's like the one the support that still has a stun.
Oh, the other issue that people have is that her sleep is non-detectable. On your end of the team, you can briefly see it when it leaves the gun. On the enemy team, you can't tell where the sleep came from. It doesn't make a sound, and even when you're hit with it, it doesn't make a sound.
It just feels like Ana will be better for her abilities and less good for
Her
the amount of healing she can do.
her
Because right now, I feel like,
abilities are
okay,
better. It's just that because she requires so much aim intensity and her healing is reduced and her alt charge is reduced,
yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
she's not as impactful.
Because
Baptiste,
Ana, people right now, people play Ana to get nano. Like, people will swap Ana halfway through a game and be like, let me charge a quick nano in like half a fight after shooting into my Reinhardt for 20 seconds. And then we'll see if we can like nano our Reaper for his ult really quickly. And then I'll swap back to whatever ult I was playing, character I was playing before. Like, people play
so
her just to charge her ult. So,
now
yeah, I see how that could screw her over for her ult. But
Baptiste is
her
good
abilities
because
be
he
good at
can
least.
Baptiste is good because he can heal a whole team pretty easily, even with a 35% decrease. The reason Zenyatta is good is Discord got buffed
Ay, ay, ay.
2 times.
That's
Two
not what I want to
times.
hear.
2 times the damage instead of 1.5 times. Also,
Yikes,
because
that's gonna be painful as solo tank.
his orb distance also got increased.
I'm okay with that. It's just like what it
So,
used to be.
so the reason that Zenyatta is so powerful is because Discord is really good. 2, he does
Hmm.
flat damage, meaning you're not your damage is about the same, so you don't really have to worry about that. The other reason why he's so good is that his orb continuously heals, but he doesn't have to be right next to you. He can be quite a ways away and still do decent healing. Lucio obviously heals the whole team consistently. Good. Mercy is.
Although I will say, Lucio does barely any healing as is, so I can't imagine him doing less than 35% healing. He'd probably just
Um,
gonna be valuable for spurt speed.
no, honestly, Lucio. The meta right now is Zen Lucio. Because
With what tank and DPS?
meta in terms of
Like a
the
Rhine, a
meta.
monkey,
So you're
Diva?
no tanks for the meta is either um. So for just roll comp, it is Reinhardt, Sigma, and Junker Queen.
Okay, that makes sense. I love Junker
With
Queen. She's
the
fun.
DPS being Reaper. I think it's like Reaper, Junkrat, Sombra, and Sojourn. In
Makes sense.
support being Lucio Zen or Moira Zen.
Oh, I love Moira. I'm a Moira lover.
The reason because of this is one, Moira does decent healing, but also her damage orb does pretty good damage, and it's slower now, so it actually does more damage.
But yeah,
The
doesn't it like
other,
have a thing where it, like it can decrease the amount of damage the enemy does to you?
no, they took Enfeebling Orb away. The reason
Oh.
they took the Enfeebling Orb away because it almost acted like all res Mercy. You did it and you waited for one alt and you held on to it until one alt was popped, and then you popped it. The enemy team retreated, waited it out, and then pushed. So it was basically, oh, I got hit. Let's all come back and wait 6 seconds. Okay, I'm good now. Let's all push.
But that's 6 seconds when your team could be pushing. I liked
Except,
Enfeebling Orb. I thought it was
well,
an interesting idea for once.
so I wasn't quite done yet.
Go ahead, go ahead.
So the issue with Enfeebling Orb is it became like mass res. Moira stayed hidden a lot, wasn't doing a lot of healing, wasn't doing a lot of damage, popped Enfeebling Orb on somebody, and then the enemy team would retreat. While the enemy team retreats around a corner somewhere, you have two options. Either you're on a payload or a push map. So on push, you just push it forward, and they hold a line somewhere, and it's great. On a payload map, it's utterly worthless because you're sitting at payload waiting for them to push up. They wait, or you push up into them, and if they push up into them, they just retreat through their spawn and sit there and spawn and wait. And then they all push together. And then you've essentially just got another team fight. The other issue that they ran into is that when you hit someone with the enfeebling orb, it feels boring because say you hit a Reaper or you hit a Hog, well then the Hog just doesn't shoot anyone. Or the Reaper, yeah, his ult is useless now, but he just like wraiths away and goes somewhere else and then appears in your backline when he doesn't have it anymore. It changes them to not be in the main team fight, but it feels worthless because they can just walk away and go on a flank route and then come around and kill you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I guess that'd be true, especially if it was something like Soldier where he can just sprint off with that 10% movement speed and just be gone and then come back 12 or 6 seconds, 6 seconds later.
Yeah, about 6 seconds. So it's just like it was worthless. It did something really cool, but the other thing you gave up is you gave up damage orb. So now the only way you can get resource back is by sucking. But you also still have the handicap that if you suck from the same target, you gain 50% less resource. So you have to DPS Moira, and you have something that's on a 12-second cooldown that only lasts for 6 seconds, but is only good in like a 1v1 scenario, and even in a team fight is only good if they pop an ult charge on the push and you hit the right person with it. And it's just, it's not, it's very specific in its use case. That's why I said it's like Mercy all res. You have a Mercy hiding out somewhere to use it, and they only use it for one thing.
Okay.
So they took it away. Interesting idea, not a very good change.
Not great in application or in actual gameplay.
Yeah.
Disappointing. I was hoping Moira would get a new ability to her kit, because as is, she already feels so... playing her right now feels so boring. It feels like hide, spew out as many heals as I can. Maybe if I'm feeling really spicy, I'll flank and try to get a pick, but mostly she just does not feel great right now. So I'm looking forward to her being a fun character to play in Overwatch 2.
The other thing is it didn't quite fit with her character, so her whole character is around the balance of things. The yin and yang. The balance of damage and healing. That's her whole gimmick, right? As a healer, is balance.
Mm-hmm.
When you give her the enfeebling orb, it balances out with her being... It gives her another passive, but now she can't be as active now. So now she's purely passive. And the reason it sucks so much for Moira is you had to be active in order to get resource. You had to be active in order to get value. Because healing is so much lower now, you either have to pump out more healing or you have to pump out more damage. Well, Moira has shit damage if you're not already low. And because
this brings up go ahead, finish your thought, then I'll ask my question.
And because DPS do increased damage, it's more dangerous to get up close to them. So when she doesn't have her damage orb, she's fighting every single battle at a disadvantage. So say she pops enfeebling orb, it's great for a 1v1, but it's god-awful for a team fight because every DPS deals increased damage. So you maybe hit it on the one, but the other one is still there, and that requires you to be pretty damn close to be able to hit your shot well enough, because it's a slow-moving projectile that, well, it's a decently fast, but it's a small projectile, so you have to be in, like, short-range distance, which is meat shot territory for every decent DPS that's out there, hit scan included. And their meat shot territory will bring you down to almost nothing or kill you in one shot.
So my question was going to be, this sort of leads into it. Do you feel like time to kill is going to be an issue in Overwatch 2? Because I already feel like it's gone up a lot. Like, so many times it's happened to me in, like, gold games where I'm playing Reinhardt and my health bar goes from like full to zero as soon as I peek around a corner.
It's
Do you
worse.
think that's going to
It's
be an
worse.
issue, even more of an issue in Overwatch 2? Like,
Yup.
just so much damage
Yup.
and so little healing, people
Yup.
just die instantly?
Yeah, I've experienced that firsthand as Reinhardt. Your shield does not block almost anything. I want you to imagine Junkrat right now. Imagine Junkrat and Pharah, how much they break your shield in Overwatch 1. Now imagine they're getting damage boosted each, getting a dedicated damage boost pocket, but that's their normal damage output now.
It sounds miserable, to be quite honest.
Now, the Pharah is getting damage boosted on top of that.
Yeah, and on top of this, you have no off tank to help mitigate any damage, and your supports do less healing.
Oh, also the worst thing. Here's the worst thing. Mercy has a quirk about her.
Hmm.
Mercy can no longer. So if you damage boost someone as Mercy, you do 25% less damage. I think no, it's 15% less damage boost after 3 seconds on the person.
I thought they
So,
changed that.
oh wait, no, they did. So now it's just normal damage boost.
So now you just gonna constantly have damage boost. If there's like a
Yep.
Mercy damage boost in a Junkrat that already
But
has the extra damage.
her healing is god awful. Oh my god, it's so bad.
Yeah, but to be honest, in higher Elos, Mercy I don't think is necessarily played as a big healing character anyways. She's played for the damage boost and sometimes for the survivability of Mercy being a very agile and
I
mobile
would,
character.
I would even say though that they changed the way that a super jump works, so she's not as agile. The way that a super jump works in Overwatch 2
Okay,
now.
I tried the change where she can fly in any direction, and it took a bit of getting used to, but I tentatively liked it. I
No,
thought it
they
felt.
changed it again.
Oh, really? Because I tried her on the version where she couldn't super jump, but she could fly in whatever direction she looked. And
The
as someone who
current
used to play a lot of Mercy, I was like, this could work.
the current version is if you go and you jump. So say you hold down jump and you dash to someone, you don't.
Oh, does it just yeet you in the air?
No, it doesn't fly you up. It yeets you forward in the direction you were looking. So if I fly to a soldier and he's looking to the north, and I hold down my jump button and then release it, instead of jumping up, I jump past him.
Is there a cancel? Like, is there a GA cancel?
Unless you're not holding jump, then you can't cancel out of it. If you
For
hold,
Mercy, it's so hard to.
because she'll like ricochet past her target, and the other thing is Guardian Angel is on a 2 second cooldown now, so it's not like you can just like hop back. If you overshot, you're fucked. And so now, in order to super jump properly, you have to hold down the jump button and let go of it. But you have a 90% chance of just jump. It's almost like you're dashing. You have like a 90% chance of just dashing in the same direction that you went to already do an angel dash to the character you're going as. You understand what I'm saying, right?
I think so. I just feel like taking
So,
out Mercy's classic super jump is not the move.
so say there's a soldier 5 feet in front of you, and he's going north. You fly to him, okay?
Yes, fly the soldier.
If you don't release it exactly when you touch the soldier, instead of dashing up or just not working, you dash 10 feet forward.
So there's a lot of problem with overshooting, which is already something that happens but can be solved very easily with a GA cancel. So
But there's no
yeah, I
cancel
think that
now.
is gonna make
It's
Mercy
just
a lot.
timing of the jump. And you can't even crouch to make it better. So now if you don't instantly let go of the jump button as soon as you get to him, you won't super jump. But your super jump isn't even all that great either because you don't jump high. The highest you jump is, on King's Row, that fence?
Which fence?
When
What
you're
point? What point?
attacking, first point.
Okay, yeah, the little wall.
That's as high as you go.
Hmm. Intriguing.
It's not that great. It's just not good.
Yeah, no, that sounds not great.
You are
Personally, I
met
think Mercy's movement is perfect as is. Her rest of her kit with like res in Guardian Angel, you can debate whether or not she should have mass res back, whether or not her res should even be in the game at all.
I'm
But her
fine with.
movement, like her shift and her
Oh,
super jump, feels perfect.
I'm fine with her res. What I'm not okay with is they made the animation longer.
How much longer are we talking here?
Point. What was? Isn't. How long is her res right now?
I don't know. It's like maybe a second and a half. I don't play her as much as I used
I
to.
think they said it's like 2.5 seconds.
So they added like at least a half second. It's not a whole second.
Yeah, it's pretty noticeable. Yeah, but about 2.5 seconds.
Yeah, that feels like
It
it's definitely
feels
gonna
like
be frustrating.
molasses. You also can't cancel out of a res anymore either. Before, if you moved far enough away from the target, you could just cancel the res.
Hmm.
Nope, you can't cancel res anymore, even no matter how far away you move.
Well, that would be good, I guess, in some situations where you might get yeeted away from your res without purpose. Bad in situations where you're going for a res and then you need to quickly reposition because it ends up not working out for
I just don't
you.
understand why they just
I
can't add a
just I just
cancel.
want her super jump. I just don't know why they wouldn't. Yeah, A, have a cancel of an ability for her GA, and then why they would take her super jump out, because her super jump was like, it took some skill to learn it, but it wasn't so impossible to learn that you
Well,
have people
because
being like, I can't learn super
before
jump. It felt like a skill that added, like difficulty to the character, but was also doable.
before they made it automatic. So when you dashed, you
Oh,
automatically
I
super
hated
jumped.
that.
I hated it
I
too much. I'm
hated
like,
that.
great, I flew up in the air. The soldier shot me down as soon as I went up
I
there.
know, yeah. Playing against a Widowmaker, constantly getting yeeted into the air is not a good thing when you're playing against a Widow that can hit a basic falling target. Like,
It's like you're
that
playing
was
duck
not the
hunt, where the
move.
duck is being very
The duck
aggressive.
is mercy.
No, the duck is very depressed and wants to be killed.
The duck is like, please let me swap off Mercy. No, we need you for the damage boost.
Anyways, I think that is everything.
Yeah, it was a fun conversation. I love nerding out about Overwatch, so thank you so much for having
Well,
me on.
thank you for coming. This has been Overtalk, ladies and gentlemen. Have a wonderful night and or day.